G'day guys, hope you're all doing well. Hope you've all had a great weekend. This is just a video I've been intending on doing for quite a while. Finally decided to have a crack at it this afternoon. It's probably going to be a bit longer than my normal video because there's a bit to go through, but basically I've put together a way to do my top 20 figures. And this is basically how I've done it. I've basically written it out. So this is top 20. So basically I'm picking 2 from each of the movie episodes, as you can see down there. So 2 from each episode, from 1 to 6, that gives you 12. Plus 2 Clone Wars figures, that will give you 14. Plus 2 from the expanded universe, which would give you 16. Plus 4 honourable mentions from anything, really. So take your pick. Basically what I've done for my honourable mentions is I've picked 1 from the Clone Wars, 1 from the expanded universe, and 2 more from the films. So that's basically what I'm going to be going through. So I'll be going through this list in hopefully a reasonably quick manner. But let's start with episode 1. Now I've chosen Quinlan Vos. Now a lot of you may know he is probably one of my favourite Jedi. He is a really nicely done figure. Unfortunately he hasn't sold as well as I would have liked to have seen. Obviously he doesn't have the sort of mainstream appeal that a lot of us sort of more hardcore Star Wars fans have. He's probably not known to as many people in the general public in terms of who this character is, and this is the card back basically really didn't do a lot for the character. I think it would have drawn a lot more attention if they used something from a comic book, but really nice, really nicely articulated, really nicely detailed, and it is one I have reviewed in the past, so you can certainly go back through my feed and through my channel and have a look for the single reviews. I believe I have done reviews on most of these figures. So that is one. The second one, I've gone with Aura Singh. This is just an absolutely amazing figure. I could have quite easily gone with Darth Maul. Not that Darth Maul's a bad figure, but I don't know, personally, I just really like these 2 figures from episode 1. So I'll just try and get that focus a little bit nicer on it. I think that's about as good as we're going to get. So she has been released twice, this particular figure, once in the Vintage Collection most recently, in that online exclusive wave, and part of the Discover the Force line, which did come out earlier. She does have her little suitcase with accessories. I did review her quite a while ago, so you can definitely go back and have a look at that. So now we move on to Attack of the Clones. Now, I know a lot will agree, I had to get a trooper in there somewhere, and this is by all means the best clone trooper build we've had, in my opinion. I think it's going to be the basis for all future clone releases for the time being. Not that excited that they've reused this sculpt for Phase 2 clones. I believe this to be Phase 1 armor, but they've just painting them and putting a Phase 2 helmet on it, which it's alright, but I think the old style of armor is better for the Phase 2 clones, but this is just absolutely brilliant. We've also had the Clone Trooper Lieutenant with the blue markings with this figure, and part of the new future line, whatever it is that's coming out, the Black Series, I think we'll be getting a Sergeant, which is green. I think it's a Sergeant, I could be wrong. So we're getting ones with green markings coming very soon, and no doubt we'll see ones with the yellow and the red as well in the very near future. So that's the first one for episode 2. Second one we have is Jango Fett. Now this is just an awesome character. For the longest time I've wanted a really good Jango Fett, and I personally feel that this is the best one. Probably could have done without the little gauntlet claws on there, but I mean, if you're daring, you could probably just scalpel them off and give it a bit of a paint job just to even it out. I might even do that myself at some point, but definitely a really nice Jango, really nice head sculpt underneath. This is one I've certainly reviewed in the past as well, at least I'm pretty sure I have. It was a while back now, so definitely one of the best Jango Fetts, and yeah, definitely one for your collection if you're interested in Jango Fett, because he's really cool. I also like this little rocket firing feature there with the fire coming out. I think it's really good. So now we move on to episode 3. Both Jedi for this one. Kit Fisto. I know this is technically on an Attack of the Clones vintage card, but it is how he appears in Revenge of the Sith. He was a lot darker shade of green, if you remember, in Attack of the Clones. So, remember early on they were saying they were actually going to fix that and release him on a Return of the Jedi card with this particular look from this movie, but they didn't end up doing that. So, but another great figure, fantastic detail, amazing articulation. You know, he is reasonably tough to track down now, but it is doable, it is findable. So just love the detail on his head tails, his tendrils, whatever you want to call them. So another great figure. My other one from Revenge of the Sith is this particular Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. This one was really cool. I've actually got the hood blue tacked to his head just to keep it in that sort of spot so it's draped over his head. I've actually got this figure twice, one so I could have him dueling with Obi-Wan. This guy's surrounded by a couple of 501st guys, but another amazing figure. Really like this one. Obviously his dark side has taken him over in this portrayal, but once again, amazing articulation, great detail. I'm a big Anakin fan, so it's just a natural for me to pick this one. So very nice one. Now let's move on to the original trilogy, starting with A New Hope, of course. And I've picked this Han Solo from, let me think, the Vintage Original Trilogy Collection. I could be wrong, it might be the Saga Collection. I'm pretty sure it's the Original Trilogy Collection. Definitely the best sort of A New Hope Han Solo they've made, in my opinion. It's just dead on, I think. I really don't think they could do much better than this Han Solo. They could re-release this one for years to come and people wouldn't complain. So yeah, definitely another great one. I had to get a Han Solo in here somewhere, so here he is. Yeah, just a really nice generic Han Solo from episode 4, and yeah, just really spot on. He is quite pricey these days, especially to get him carded, because he was part of the package where they had the star case sort of sealed around it, so made him a little bit pricier. Now we move on. Now I had to go with this Luke Skywalker. For the longest time I've wanted just a really good farm boy Luke, and this one did the trick. This was from something or other, Lars Homestead set. Don't believe he has been re-released singularly, but he's quite easy to find on eBay for a reasonable price too, so definitely check him out. He was also the basis for the Death Star Escape Luke Skywalker that was released in the Vintage Collection in Wave 5. They gave him a bit of a different hair paint job. He's a bit blonder, and they also gave him a bit different paint job throughout the rest of the figure, as well as a change in belt and soft goods for the lower part of the tunic there. But this one is far better in my opinion. Really nice Luke. Alright, so now we go on to Empire Strikes Back. Now this one, I don't really get this one down much. I really should get him down and play with him a bit more. IG-88, if I can get him in frame. He is quite tall. Just a really nicely detailed, really nicely articulated figure. Definitely recommend this one. He was from the Vintage Original Trilogy Collection or the Saga Collection. I can't remember exactly. Probably should have done my research, but never mind. Yeah, just a really cool looking droid. I really like IG-88. Don't think I've actually reviewed this guy, but I'm pretty sure Darth Phoenix 619 has, so definitely go out and check his review of this guy, because it's just a really cool figure. I really like IG-88, and he's just got all the bits and pieces really nicely detailed. Does have a bit of trouble holding his gun, but only because of his funny little hands, but still pretty cool. So that's my first one. Now the second one, I've done a slight custom job. This is a reasonably new figure. It is the Hoth Luke Skywalker. As you can see, he doesn't have his terrible headscarf or pointy shoulders. Actually inspired to work on this by, you guys probably know him as Wit from Boring Conversation Anyway. He also just started doing some videos here on YouTube. youtube.com/R2Witco. That's R2WITCO. So definitely check out his channel. So he did a bit of a video showing what he's done to his Hoth Luke. So I decided to get out the knife and give it a go. And I really like this look of him. I think it looks a lot better than he did before. The shoulders aren't so pointy now. All it took was a little bit of slight shaving with an X-Acto knife, but I got there and I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah. Alright. Return of the Jedi. Ifant Mon. I have reviewed this guy in the past. He is an absolute beast. I really like this guy. I managed to pick this guy up for about $10, I think. It was very cheap. I did mention that in my review, how much I got him for. I can't actually remember off the top of my head, but got him for an absolute steal one day. Just happened to walk into a store that specialises in Lego, and they had this guy sitting amongst a stack of old Star Wars figures, so naturally I snatched him up. He's just a really cool looking dude, really nicely sculpted. He is an older figure. He's from 2002-2003 line, but he's just a big bulky piece of plastic. He's really, really solid and heavy. So really cool addition. I really like him. I still need to try and get Hermione, the other big guy from Jabba's Palace. Speaking of Jabba's Palace, I've had to go with Jabba. This is the more recent Shadow of the Dark Side sort of packaging. Came with his throne, Ula, Salacious Crumb, his Deus, or his bong, Jabba's bong. But I don't know, it's just, I was so stoked to have a Jabba in my collection. I've never had a Jabba before this guy, and he is just really cool. Rubbery and yeah, a bit slimy. Head solid plastic, but the rest of it's sort of rubbery. So I really like the detail they've got in his eye, where one's sort of semi-closed. Got a bit of drool there on his mouth. Just a really cool piece. Alright, so now we move on to the Clone Wars. Now, this is a hard decision because I've got a lot of characters I really like in the Clone Wars and a lot of great figures. But naturally I had to start off with Embo. This guy is just amazing. Really looks cool, really like the character, really fits the persona of a bounty hunter. Just another really cool looking figure. He's got the two knives that slip into his back there, which looks really cool, as well as his sort of crossbow. You can see the hat, which he also uses as a shield. So he's really cool. I really like Embo. And my second Clone Wars one is my favourite character from the Clone Wars, Cad Bane. I did review this one pretty recently, so you can definitely scroll back a short time and find my review of this guy. This is the one that came with Todo 360. Just another really nice Clone Wars figure. Much better than the first version in my opinion. I just really like Cad Bane's character. I think he's really, really cool. So there goes my Clone Wars 2. Now we're going for the expanded universe. Had to show my love for the Force Unleashed, and I picked this guy, Lord Starkiller, in his Sith Stalker outfit from the Dark Side ending of Force Unleashed 1. This is a really cool figure. I really like this guy. I like all these lightsabers that are scattered around his belt there. He looks really cool. And I like his lightsaber that he's actually holding. Just a really nasty looking person. You wouldn't want to get in the way of him. So this is actually one of the first figures I actually reviewed on my channel, so you have to scroll right down to the bottom to see a review on this guy. I think it was the first figure I reviewed. It might have been the second or third. I did review that 3-pack from what this guy was from. So it may have been the second or third review I did. So that is him. The second one was a tough. There's so many good EU figures, but I didn't want to go with the typical Sith Darth Maul that everyone would go for, and I decided to go with Prince Shizor. Now this guy came in a comic pack with Princess Leia back in the Legacy collection. I think it was the Legacy collection. It's been a while. Have reviewed this one in the past. Just really nice portrayal of Prince Shizor. We have seen him before in the Power of the Force 2 line, but it was sort of your typical bulky He-Man look. This one is really cool. So you see his spines up his back. It looks really cool. Really like his long fingers as well. Quite fitting, seeing as we've seen more of these feline guys in the Clone Wars very recently, so that's cool. Alright, now we go on to my 4 honourable mentions. Seeing as I couldn't get Darth Maul in before, I've had to get his Clone Wars portrayal version in this video somewhere. Just, I don't know what it is about this guy. The articulation could be better. Like I wouldn't complain about giving him some wrist articulation, some waist articulation, and maybe a bit more in the legs, but I don't know, there's just something about this guy that I just absolutely love. I don't know, it's the red, the black, part cyborg. He's just a complete badass. I just really like him. So I've had to go with Darth Maul, seeing as I didn't get the movie version in my top 20, so I've gone with him. Now, my one from the expanded universe is another Force Unleashed one, is Rahm Kota. Once again, there's so many EU figures I could have picked for this video, but I've just had to go with something that's a little bit different, something that I really like myself personally, and just something different. So I've gone with Rahm Kota. I really like the sort of samurai look to him. Just a really cool looking Jedi. I really liked his character in the game. Just a really nice figure. So he's a little bit tough to track down these days, but certainly attainable if you're willing to pay for the price. Alright, so for my next 2 honourable mentions, I've gone back to the films. This one is A New Hope. Decided to go with Chewbacca. I think this is personally the best portrayal of Chewbacca we have as a figure, particularly from A New Hope. So the articulation's superb on this guy, the sculpt's superb. I've seen this one released a couple of times. He was part of another one of those Starcase ones where he's part of the Vintage Original Trilogy collection, or the Saga collection. Once again, I can't remember, guys, but there was another one in one of those lines where he had this Return of the Jedi hair, where it was sort of brushed to the side as opposed to brushed back over the back of his head. But another great figure, one of my personal favourites. Had to get Chewie in there somewhere. Alright, now my last one. I've had to go with Vader. This is the most recent Darth Vader we've had in the vintage collection. This is his A New Hope sort of look. He's got the ball hinge hips. He's got the sort of reddy bronze sort of eye goggles, whatever you want to call them. I can't think of the word. But just a really nice portrayal of Vader. I really wanted to get a Vader in my top 20 somewhere, so decided to fit him into my honourable mentions. So that just about does it, guys. That is pretty much my top 20. I mean, it's probably going to change in a month. I have a lot of favourite figures, and they change all the time depending on what my mood is. Just like my favourite movie, it always changes depending on what mood I'm in. So I'd love to see some video responses using this method, just to see what you guys do for your top 20. I think it'd be really cool to see something different. I'm not sure how long this video has been going for, but if you got this far, thank you so much for sticking around. This has just been something I've been wanting to do for a little while. Yes, I'd love to see some video responses. I'd love to see some more top 20s from you guys using this same method that I have. I just think it'd be a bit of fun just to see some other videos get around doing the same thing. So I'll be back with some more videos very soon, guys. I look forward to seeing what you think. Any comments and feedback right below. Very interested to see what you guys come up with. Even if you write down a top 20 using that method, it would be really cool just to get a bit of a response, to see what everyone else thinks. Yeah, like I was saying, I'll be back with some more videos sometime this week. Probably got some more reviews, but this is just a video I wanted to get out there. So until my next video, guys, enjoy your week, and may the Force be with you.